video. Hey yo, this is part 2 of Squirrel Warrior. Today I'm joined with Nekonotaishou. Is that how you say it?
Pretty close. It's a very, very weeby name. Nekonotaishou.
Ni Ni Nekonotaishou. Taishou. Sorry if I
Nekonotaishou. It's alright.
mutilated that.
It's my own fault for choosing that name.
It's a pretty cool name, and you can check out her art here on the nekonotaishou.deviantart.com. Yeah, so tell me a bit about yourself.
Well, I know my page says Mexico, and that's where I'm from, but now I live in California. I'm a professional animator with a BFA from the Academy of Art University, and I like to draw animals, if it isn't obvious.
Awesome. Yeah, I love drawing animals yourself. As you can see, I'm doing part 2 of the Warrior School, and so it's, this fun creature scene that I decided to finish off. And yeah, so we'll go to our first question. So you mentioned to me you work from home, and
Yep.
I was wondering, what challenges you find with doing this.
I mean, it's great working from home. I worked from home when I worked in other and not from home, and it's nice to just be surrounded by my own stuff, my own setup, and without having a supervisor or manager kind of always behind me telling me that what I should be doing, when I should be doing it.
Mm.
If I want to take the day off early, I can do that. If I want to, come into work later, I can do that. If I want to come into work earlier, I can also do that. So that's nice.
Yeah. Awesome. But you find any challenges in it? Like, maybe, I don't know, keeping yourself motivated, things like that?
Sometimes, certainly. I mean, that is a downside to working from home. Is that aside from you have all your very familiar tools, you have all your familiar distractions as well. I also find that the fact that I have to sometimes wait for feedback from the supervisors is kind of a downside as well. And I have no like peers to actually like chat with, which is kind of sad, but it's a trade-off.
Hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a different environment. I remember coming from course and then, working from home as well. It was quite different. I was getting used to working at home, and then after I finished course, there was like just me working at home, and it felt, kind of lonely, in a way.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Sometimes I just want to start talking to someone and joking about work or whatever, and there's no one to do that with.
Yeah, but you sometimes you can find your way around that. Um, hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm. I can't compare because I haven't worked exactly in a studio. I've worked, well, I studied at courses, but I haven't worked in a studio before.
I haven't worked in an art studio proper before, no. I did do a stint as a lab tech
Mm.
at my alma mater after I graduated, while also volunteering on some student films at the time, so that was kind of like a studio,
Mm.
but not quite.
Yeah, it's yeah, with peers and things you can really get motivated because they kind of push you as well, and they kind of give you some knowledge, and your peers sometimes know things you don't know. So it's good that way. Um,
Yeah,
mm.
definitely.
Yeah, so yeah, I've used many mediums. As you can see, I'm using digital here. And I did try a different technique that I slowly mentioned in part 1. I kind of used a brush to quickly just add in the scaling, and then on top I layered like the final result of those scalings, and I'm just still adding tweaks here and there, and you'll see me just keep on adding tweaks even throughout when I get into color on this piece. Um, but yeah, I've used a few mediums in my lifetime so far, and I was wondering, what mediums have you or do you use, and do you have a favorite?
Well, I've used color, obviously before. Right now, I'm an animator, so everything is digital.
Mm.
But before, I started out with color pencils and
Mm.
pencils. Then I moved on to inks. Spent a lot of time with ink for a while there. Um, when I went to college, it was lots of charcoal, lots of charcoal.
Mm.
Um, then it was mostly just digital. I've done a very little painting. Mostly, it's a little bit of acrylics, a little bit of gouache, but that's about it. And my favorite is I like digital because it's forgiving.
Yeah,
I make a colossal mistake and undo it away.
yeah, that's the cool thing about digital. Um, hmm. I feel once you kind of get in the digital realm, you want to do everything digitally. Um, yeah, sometimes it can be that way, but
Yeah.
now I'm planning a traditional painting, um, and I've actually got a few other paintings that I'm going to do traditionally. I might do some digital stuff while I'm waiting for the paint to dry and things like that. Um, but I think in the next few months I'm going to switch to pretty much traditional works. Um,
Cool. What medium?
so I was thinking gouache. I haven't fully decided yet.
Cool.
But yeah, I
Yeah,
just
terrible at traditional paint, so I have a lot of respect for people that do it.
yeah. Um, I often like to switch. I mean, I started out in color pencil, and I love color pencil. I wouldn't do anything else but color pencil. Um,
Cool.
but now, because I play around a little bit, I get bored of colored pencils, so I go to digital. Um, now I just seem to want to switch things up every now and again, and it's been a few months in the waiting of me turning traditional, but it's finally going to happen after I finish this piece, pretty much, which will be finished. Um, yeah, and I was wondering, because you do some 3D stuff as well. Um, so
Yep.
do you switch mediums often?
Not really. The 3D is something I really picked up mostly because when I was in school, I was told that if I wanted to do creature animation, which is my specialty, that the market was basically 3D. So that's why I learned 3D. And I also learned ZBrush because it looked like a cool program. It looked like a really useful tool that I don't actually use all that often, but good to know it. That's basically what every now and then I'm like, this is really hard. This perspective is really difficult. This angle is really, really hard. I can cheat it with 3D, but that's very, very rarely.
Hmm. Yeah, well, it's a good tool to have in your palette. And I would recommend anyone to kind of try different mediums. I mean, I've tried a few. I even did at one stage. I did some sculpting, like physical sculpting stuff, and we had to do that
Okay.
in art and stuff. So I recommend it. It does kind of help. I mean, if people out there are not interested in 3D, maybe you could try getting some sculpting, modeling stuff, and creating something from that. Um,
Well, that's a good idea. I've always
mm,
wanted to try like actual sculpting. I've never had the motivation to sit down and do it, but I should do it.
yeah, there are some really cool people that do it out there, and it just I wish I could do it.
Yeah,
Really
yeah.
cool.
I think I follow a couple of people that are just amazing, and I'm just like, how?
But if even if you just create a basis for something, like for instance, if because this character here, I'm actually not exactly copying it word for word, so it's not like see the two tower in the corner as reference. I'm not exactly copying it as I see it. I'm kind of creating a little characterization of it in a way. So you can kind of like build a sculpture of what you're thinking, and then you could actually use it to look at how to physically make your lighting. It might help you in that way.
Isn't that's what James Gurney does, I believe.
Yeah, he's amazing.
The Danotopia guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang.
Mm. Yeah, those kind of things are cool. I mean, I would love to do it, but it's just I kind of think in my head and use my head how the lighting situation is going to work, and I trial and error it.
Yeah, me too. Usually I just kind of make the lighting that looks cool. If it's not entirely accurate, that's okay.
Mm. Yeah, it's like at the end of this piece, I just kind of gave in to it looking like something to appeal to children or something, rather than going for the full realistic look of, every detail looks realistic enough.
I think it's looking really nice. I like it.
Thanks. Yeah, so the next question I've got is, I haven't seen anyone wants to ask questions, they're welcome to. This is live at the moment, but it will be on YouTube in probably just after. So you're welcome to ask questions in the comments on YouTube as well, and we can get back to you on that too. So we got a question here from Pandy Girl, and she asks, what did you want to be when you grew up before you found your passion in art?
Well, it's actually really funny because ever since I was like little, and I can remember, that was being an artist was one thing I always wanted to be. Most of the time growing up, I was like, I'm going to be an artist. I envisioned like fine artist because that's all I could think of, but that sort of morphed into graphic novels or something. There was a short period when I was like, I'm going to be a veterinarian, but that didn't last very long. So since then, it's just always been art. The question was, what kind of art?
Yeah, definitely. I think, I was trying to find my, niche per se as well. And as artists, I think we all kind of try and find where we fit in the world.
It's a hard thing to find. There are just so many niches and so many combinations of them. It's hard to find your place.
And like the advice you were saying about, that someone told you, oh, you have to do 3D to get in. It's not always true. You just got to find what you're good at and what works well.
Yeah, it just doesn't hurt to have a backup plan, but I would certainly prefer to do not 3D.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's good to have in your palette. It's good to know it, and I mean, I tried 3D for a bit. It wasn't for me, and that's what's brought me down my path at the moment. Hmm.
Yeah, 3Ds take a special personality to get to that.
Yeah. So what was that?
I apologize if I don't always answer because I think there's some audio cutting out on my end, so sometimes I can't hear your question, so I might have to actually repeat it sometimes. If that's alright.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, it's a bit choppy a little bit, but it's all good. I can still hear you, and you can still kind of hear me. But yeah, sorry guys for that, but that's my videos at the moment. Not the highest quality, but still I feel pretty good content. So I was wondering, how long have you been creating, and when did you first start to get serious about it?
I've been drawing as long as I can remember. It's just one of those, little kid activities that I was always doing and I never put down. I started getting serious. Funnily enough, I think right around the time when I joined Event Art, when I was about 14, that was my first exposure to a community of artists that was, the size of the world, basically. Up until then, I basically had me, my twin sister, who's also an artist, and that was basically it. So suddenly I was faced with the fact that there's not only are there lots of other artists, lots of them are really, really good. And suddenly I had motivation to actually draw to get better rather than just to draw, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get what you mean. How's it having a sibling who's also an artist or into art? How
I think
how's
you
it?
cut out a bit there.
Yeah, how's it like to have a sibling that is also an artist or into art as well?
Oh, it's great. It's great. My sister, she's an illustrator, so it's slightly different.
Hmm.
She's more into color and I'm more into line and pose, but it's great. We ask each other for critiques. We trust each other to be absolutely honest and therefore absolutely brutal with our critiques. She knows my abilities, I know her abilities, and we have no qualms. There, my sister's in the comments right now, actually. Uh, so I mean, like she can tell me that's crap. I know you can do better, and she'll be right about that. So
Hmm. Yeah. It's interesting because I had a sister and all she wanted to do is become an artist, and I wanted to be a vet, and it ended up the opposite way around. Now I want to be the artist, or I'm kind of the artist, and she's the vet. So yeah, it's funny how sometimes things like that work out, and um, yeah, how having a sibling who's into the same kind of thing works out as well.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Hmm. It's interesting when you you know sometimes you show them your drawings and they feel like, oh, you're trying to outdo me or you're trying to get better than me, and you're just trying to show off and stuff like that. But it's quite cool what
Yeah,
you
there's a
have.
small level
Mm.
of that. Definitely a small bit of that, but my sister and I, our styles like were absolutely identical, and then at one point they just became completely different. So after that point, there was a little less trying to show ourselves up in the same field, but certainly, I mean, she'll do a cool painting, and I'll say, "Damn it," and then I'll do a cool animation, and she gets to say, "Damn it." So it's a balance.
Well, I suppose it keeps you motivated, that rivalry, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm. I feel that's one thing, is working with a team and working, I don't know, maybe not exactly with your sibling, but working alongside your siblings and things like that kind of really motivates you to get better than them, and yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so yeah, you mentioned a few things about what you like to draw and stuff, animals, but do you have like a favorite thing that you like drawing?
Um, Cats. Cats are my warm up. When I have no ideas, I just draw cats.
Yeah, that's the one, cats.
Hmm?
Always drawing the cats, eh? um, yeah, it's interesting. um, and they are always like a certain type of cat, like a household cat, or is it any type of cat?
These days it's a whole lot of saber-toothed cats actually,
Mm.
but in the past it's been lions and sometimes house cats. Yeah, so
Mm. Do you
lots of
ever
cats.
do you ever go like into you draw the anatomy and the structure and everything as well?
Oh yeah, I've done a
Mm.
few anatomy studies, and that's another thing I really love is studying anatomy.
Mm.
I could do that all day.
Yeah, it's very interesting to study. For me, it's a lot different to draw it because there's intricate bones and things that you want to get right, and I just get frustrated when I don't get all the rib cage in, or I don't get that bone quite how it looks, and it just annoys me sometimes. But I'm just learning and understanding the anatomies of every creature, one at a time.
Yeah, just take it one at a time.
Mm.
What I find most useful about anatomy is just that yes, you do one study where you draw all the bones and you suffer through all the bones and all that, but after that, it's just you suffer through this. You spend a lot of time drawing the bones, knowing the bones. Now the next time you want to draw something similar, you'll have a much better understanding of where the shapes are, where the bone is, where the joint is, and what muscles attached to where.
Mm.
So that's why I like it.
Yeah, it's good. You've always got to, fit in that study time. It's not always, create pretty pictures. You've got to spend, a couple hours a day just kind of studying. Mm.
Just making crap.
Yeah, like many hours of just making crap and Yeah, I feel it's quite hard because yeah, I've got limited time. I think most of us have limited time because most of
Yeah.
us artists, we have to pay the bill somehow. Um, so either you're doing, not exactly your personal work, or you might be doing client work and things like that. So you find it hard to fit
Yeah.
in that, that schedule of regularly practicing something or just doing it to learn. Um, when you're constantly creating something, you're not doing any drawings. That's why I find it hard to, if I was to do a, post something on Instagram every day, I don't really want to show, all the crappy drawings. Hmm.
You cut out it. Well, you cut out it a little bit. Can you repeat the last thing, please?
Well, I was saying on Instagram, I don't like to, post every crappy drawing. Um, but when my kind of personal goals is to try and post probably two drawings a week on Instagram. It's still hard because I want a good drawing to post on there.
That's pretty ambitious. That's a good goal to have.
Hmm. Whether I can actually keep up with it though, that's another thing. Um, hmm.
Yeah, it's hard to produce quality work all the time.
Yeah. But I if I can get by with just a goodish drawing every couple of days on there, I'll be happy with that. And every now and again have one of these finished paintings on there, you know. Um,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
hmm.
That's a
that,
good goal, I think.
yeah, skipping all those low bones. Um, so my next one is, do you have any challenges drawing things, or creating things?
Challenges, definitely backgrounds. The
Mm.
more stuff is in an environment, the more difficult it is. The less organic it is. So, like buildings, definitely cars. Gosh, I can't draw cars. I mean, I probably could, but it wouldn't be a very good car. Um, Still struggling to find a way to draw people in a way that's comfortable and that I have fun with. I went to art school. I learned all this stuff, so I know I can do it. But whether I enjoy it and I do it in a way that I would consider professional and well is doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes if you can do it, doesn't exactly mean that you're going to do it. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
but it's we've all got challenges. I've the same thing. I'm kind of not exactly one to have the best backgrounds. I mostly focus on the image at hand. The here I'm trying to focus on the creatures, but in the end, I'm starting to really pick up how to paint backgrounds, and I started out with having the background just the filler, and now I'm actually trying to pay more attention to the background and trying to actually make it worthwhile to make the piece pretty good.
Yeah, backgrounds are, yeah, they're a thing onto their own. I mean, I really didn't start doing backgrounds until fairly recently,
Mm,
and I'm starting to learn that yeah, they're can be as much a character as a character sometimes.
yeah. Yeah, I think for, drawing urban versus, drawing something organic, two different mindsets. Because drawing something, that's structural like a car needs a lot of like math and, correct proportions and everything. It needs a lot of that kind of construction work before you can get down the final drawing.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah, with organic stuff. I mean, when I started in school, I really hated, technical drawing. I just hated rulers and measuring and all that stuff. But I really love just to draw, straight from the hand with no rulers
Oh
or
yeah,
no measurements or anything. I
definitely.
just
Yeah,
love it. Um,
I know exactly what you mean.
yeah, but at time to time I've had to go back and do some of that. Um, more, urban outdoor environments.
If I ever had to do that, would do those. That would be one of the times when I would make a 3D model and I would cheat it because I don't want to draw that.
Yeah, just make a 3D model and trace it, eh? Um,
That's what I would do. Yeah.
yeah, but, I'm constantly, drawing boxes and stuff as well, just, doodling while I have
Yeah.
time off. Or in my breaks or something,
Yeah. I mean, like while I was at school, there was this whole course about perspective, and I had to draw all of the boxes with rulers and correct perspective, and I mean it was fun while it worked, but then especially inking was a pain in the butt. So I always just did ruins so that you can ink it shaky and it's fine.
Mm. Yeah, we did that perspective and stuff. We did it because I've stayed for 5 years. Um, we did it a few times in our years. We did a few perspective, like in our drawing classes. We had that, and then yeah. Also, because it was design as well. We had a lot of like measuring. We had to, when we created a poster, we had to measure all the boxes where the text was going, how big was the text, and where the image is going, how big the image is, where it sits on the page and everything. It had to be fully, in measurements, millimeters and everything.
Wow, that's
Um,
intense.
yeah, it was. It took some time, and I was the kind of person to hand in the design, and then afterwards I would fake the measured design up and just hand it in that way.
Hey, that works.
Yeah, it worked.
Smarter, not harder.
You just don't tell anyone, and
Yeah.
yeah, and you just do it after and said, yes, I did the measurements and everything. Here you go. But yeah, I really dislike, that kind of ruling lines and stuff. I
Yeah,
kind
me
of,
too.
but it's really hard, to draw lines without a ruler as well, pretty straight. You've got to have,
Yeah, definitely.
you've got to have a lot of practice, and that's a thing that you just have to build up and build up all the time. Um, yeah, to try and get your line straight.
Yeah.
It's like, is it King Jong-ji? His art's amazing, and he does use um, a lot of construction lines and things when helping to build up. But I don't think he needs a ruler as much to draw it. He knows how to just draw a straight line. Um, hmm.
Yeah, I think I've seen this guy's work, and I know he's just insane. Just like, wow.
Yeah, he can draw anything just out of his mind without any reference. Because I mean, he's been doing it for years. No, the age of like 8 or something, he was just drawing madly every day.
Wow.
It like um, imagine if someone pretty high up started really early. A lot of these people are starting really early these days, like 8 or 9. They're becoming pretty good at art these days. Um,
I'm really jealous when I see that.
yeah, and it's just like, oh my god. Um, and I just look at it and think, oh, if I was that 8-year-old boy, imagine what it would be if I was at this age. But
Yeah, it's just yeah. Where will they be at this when they're my age? Oh my god.
yeah, but the thing is, they've got to keep it up because I mean, a lot of 8-year-olds and young people do a lot of crazy stuff, like, or well, not crazy stuff as such, or they get into a hobby or something that they don't exactly keep when they're older. For instance, I used to play soccer. I don't play soccer anymore at all.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's true.
so, but I also hated it.
So
It
like you're
wasn't,
saying,
you know.
You're cutting out a little bit, so sorry if I sound like I'm interrupting, because it sounds like you're pausing sometimes.
Yeah, okay. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that, not all hobbies stick around.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, yeah, if they're going to become professionals, um, well, I hope, those kids sometimes, hopefully they do keep on the art path and keep going and keep doing it.
Yeah, I actually know a lot of artists who are really, really good who decide to not go into art because they wanted to stay a hobby.
Hmm.
So that's the other side of it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's something they don't exactly love, um, they probably give it up. So I think I'll go to. Oh, where do your ideas come from?
Hmm? What?
Where do your ideas come from?
Where do my ideas come from?
Mm.
More often than not, they come from, uh, well, my ADD brain just spewing ideas. Then I consult with my sister whether she thinks this is a good idea or not. Um,
Yeah.
Sometimes I take inspiration from nature documentaries and just the crazy stuff that nature is. I get a lot of ideas from that, but mostly just I like to just grab whatever's in my head, just talk and spit it out and talk
Mhm.
about it with someone and hash it into a good idea and then do it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It's interesting. Um, I don't know. I think ideas pop out of nowhere sometimes. Um, but yeah, like you, it comes from life, or some experience or something in your life, eh?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's like, where did this come from? I do not recognize this at all. Where did this come from? It's cool though. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, some ideas are like, what the hell, or you know, where did it come out of? How
Hmm.
do I think of this?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for this piece here, I wouldn't have thought of it at all. Um, I don't know. I mean, it it actually developed a little bit because I decided when I was starting out, I was just going to do a lizard running, and then I decided, well, I saw something in my sketch to add a squirrel on top, and I was like, oh, this could be interesting.
It is interesting. It is very interesting.
So yeah, I was like, oh, this piece could go somewhere, and then when I start to get really into a sketch, I start thinking of more background story, um, and things like the squirrel is angry, or well, he's not exactly happy. He looks pretty happy that he's charging, um, so maybe he's just there happily protecting um, the fortress of some sort in the
It's
forest.
a very serious professional squirrel.
Yeah, he doesn't look angry though. They both look, kind of happy going along their day, kind of a feeling, um, which is just something I was kind of going for. I wasn't exactly going for warrior, what's it, brave heart kind of feeling. Which I could put like a little kilt on him one day.
That could be fun.
Make it a bit Scottish, eh? Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I just like to have fun sometimes with ideas. Um, but yeah, they start to grow. You can see in the corner here, I've actually got my first sketch from it. Basically, I turned that sketch into a three-tonal study, and then now it's turned into a full blown painting. I'm just adding the final details here, actually. So it's getting quite close to the end of it. Um, which is like, wow, time goes fast.
Oh yeah, wow, it went really fast.
Well, I think there's a couple more minutes, 5 or 6. Um, yeah, or about less than about 10 minutes actually, so it's a little bit of time to talk about a few things. It's time for any questions if anyone's out there wanting to ask any questions. And yeah, like always, you can like, share, subscribe, and that way you can know when I'm doing these streams, and you can know if you want to ask any questions. Feel free. Anywho, my next question was, have you met anyone that inspires you?
I have actually. One of my all-time art heroes is Tara Whitlatch,
Yeah.
future designer, and I have been fortunate enough to meet her on 2 or 3 occasions.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's just like, wow, presence of your hero. Oh my god,
Yes.
it's really it's inspiring like nothing else is really.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I didn't exactly meet him as such. I could have had the opportunity if I had the guts back then to go up and walk and say hi. But I was in the same room as Ian McCraig when he gave his talk speech thing here in New Zealand, which was quite cool. And yeah, I've met some pretty cool people. I haven't exactly met an artist that inspires me. I've met an actor, and I got to ask them a question. She's Liv Moore from, well, her name in the show that I watch is Liv Moore. I can't remember her actual name. Liv Moore from iZombie I've met, which is very interesting.
Cool.
That, she kind of inspires me in the way that I ask the question, how does she get into, acting different actors? Because in the show, she's, every show she's acting like someone else. Like one day she might be a teenager, the next day she might be an old granny. She's acting quite different people every week when she's on the show. So I asked that question, and I think it was quite helpful for me because sometimes when I'm painting things, you do different things. You're both the actor, you're trying to act out what your characters are doing. You're the scene maker, the scene script writer, and all sorts.
Oh yeah, definitely that.
It's like you got to put on the different.
Gotta wear lots of different hats.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it's pretty inspirational. I mean, it's pretty cool to go and meet new artists and actually talk to them. Actually, another artist that I met, and I wasn't a huge fan of her before I saw any of her art, because I only saw her art like a year and a half ago. But her name's Tara McPherson, and
I think I've heard of her. The name sounds familiar.
she's amazing, and I just was really happy I got to meet her, and her partner and kids and everything, and I got to talk with her and see her art, and it was awesome.
That's really cool.
So yeah, I've met some very awesome people, and like on these chats I get to talk to heaps of amazing artists like yourself, and
Thank you.
some other ones as well. There's heaps that I get in every now and again, so you guys that love art, love to see illustrations being created, or just like to come and watch some talks on art, you're free to check out this YouTube show or this stream every now and again when I have it. And they're all up there on YouTube, you can watch them all. So I've had, pretty cool people in there, and everyone that I talk to, I feel I get new knowledge out of some sort. Yeah.
I'm sorry, you lost the last bit again. I'm sorry.
I was saying that I get new knowledge out of every single artist I talk to, which is really cool.
Oh yeah. That's the wonder of talking to other artists. Everyone has lots of cool things to talk about, new knowledge. You never know where people come from.
Yeah, everyone brings something to the table, and it's just really amazing to get a different perspective. Um, not it doesn't to me it doesn't really matter how many years they've been in the business and what kind of success they've had. It's to me it's what they're doing with their art at the moment. So would you have any last minute questions for me?
Um, Last minute questions for you. Yes, what inspired you to do this video guest feature thing?
Well, I wanted to do something with my art. I just wanted to spread it out there a bit more than just creating an image. Um, so I did a bit of play around for a year or a bit of just me painting stuff. But then I really got inspired by Bobby Chio. He does chew streams, which he gets artists in, and I thought, hey, why not try this myself? It could add something a bit more to my stream, where it's not just me, it's someone else talking, and get to know other artists out there. So yeah, that's kind of how I got inspired. Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Hmm. Yeah, so, I'll just ask my last question, and you can see Nekonotaishou's art here, and you can go check it out if you like. It's taking a minute or two to load while I go down and scroll down. There's a few animated things there, so, those take a while to load for some people. So basically my last question was, what advice would you give any aspiring artists?
Not every drawing you do, not every piece of art you make is going to be pretty, and that's okay. You're going to do lots and lots and lots, and I mean lots of crappy drawings to get one good drawing, and that's okay. The more you learn, the better you'll get, and don't be upset if your first couple tries aren't beautiful, because it takes actually quite a bit of work to make it pretty. If you just don't give up, is my advice.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's always, good one to not give up. Yeah. Gotta have that mindset of keep working at it, you'll get there.
Yeah, just and also remember to have fun. That's important. One of the most important parts.
Yep. You gotta have fun to keep doing it too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it shouldn't be soul sucking. You should be finding at least a little bit of joy in everything you draw.
Yep. Cool. Thank you for joining me today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been super cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you for everyone that turned up, and you can see me on the next stream. Goodbye.